Hello, hello. Happy Monday. Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. Happy mid-March already. I can't believe it's not even mid, it's the end of March. It's the fourth week, which means we are doing all things content, content creation, working on your side hustle, working on the new business you're going to launch. So hopefully you came prepared with any questions you have because these 90 minutes are for you. And of course, if you have any other divorce related questions, please ask them. We still have Emily and Kristen on today answering any type of housing, financial, or child questions. So please, comment section is for you. But yeah, today is my session. So again, I'm Anna Graham. I help our members with more in the post-divorce area when you are ready to start making some extra cash. And we have Emily Flowers, who is our divorce mortgage planning specialist, and Kristen Terry, who is our divorce coach and co-parenting specialist. We like to start off our sessions with a meditation. So Kristen, let me get your music pulled up and you can take it from there.
Thank you so much, Anna. Just checking everyone can hear me all right with all the tech that we've got going. Wonderful. So as Anna's getting the music ready, we can start by just shrugging off a little bit of the start of the day, the Monday, the fear, the anxiety that you may have, or the to-do list. We're going to leave that all behind, and we're just going to take a moment for ourselves, bring ourselves to the present moment, ensuring that we are nice and comfortable. Our feet are firmly on the ground. Our spine is nice and straight. Maybe your hands are resting in your lap. And whenever you're ready, you can close your eyes. I want you to start by taking a nice deep breath in through the nose, filling those lungs, and a gentle exhale through your mouth. As we bring our awareness to this moment, again, a deep breath in, and a slow exhale out through the mouth. Allow that exhale to be slower each time. One more time, fill your body up with that life force, deep breath in. And this time as you exhale, allow your shoulders to drop. Allow your body to soften. You don't need to be anywhere else right now. As we allow our breath to return to its natural rhythm, I want you to just observe your breath without trying to control it. Just simply notice as the air moves in and out. No need to change it. Just feeling that natural rhythm. Using your breath as an anchor. If your mind starts to wander, that's okay. You can just gently guide it back to your breath. Every inhale, you're filling up. And with every exhale, imagine releasing tension, softening. Anything you're holding on to, just let it soften. Check in with your body. Maybe gently let's scan your body from top to bottom. Allow your forehead to relax. Unclench your jaw. Allowing those shoulders to feel heavier and heavier as they drop. Your body knows how to settle. Bring your awareness down into your body. Feel where you are supported. Check in. Maybe you're supported on a seat, your feet. Maybe you're lying down and you feel supported on your back. You are held. You are safe in this moment. Just gently, if those thoughts wander, bring it back to the rhythm of your breath, to the sensations in your body. Nothing to fix, nothing to figure out. Just breathing in and out. If any thoughts do arise, let them pass like clouds. You do not need to follow them. Just gently let them drift past and return to your breath. That effortless, rhythmic flow, that life force. Feel your body soften. Feel your heart rate slow down. And your breath just slowly and rhythmically and effortlessly. Now I want you to take one deep breath in again. And slowly exhale. Begin to notice the space around you again. Gently bring your awareness back to your body. Maybe you feel the need to wiggle your fingers or your toes. Maybe you feel you need to stretch or shrug. Bring that calm with you today and through your week, and the sense of peace and safety. Whenever you're ready, you can open your eyes. And I hope you feel nice and calm. I definitely needed a little bit of slower pace. I'm already feeling much better. I love to breathe with everyone, even though my eyes are open. I'm like, yeah, we're doing this. We're calming down.
Thank you, Kristen.
You're welcome. We're going to shoot straight back to Anna because I'm excited about today's session. Emily and I are both business owners as well, and Anna has been a pivotal part in us just putting ourselves out there, creating, and just giving us ideas. So what have you got in store for us today, Anna?
Well, what don't I have? No, we're going to start off after meditations, which are needed, especially going into kind of high intensity sessions like this, which sometimes they can get to. But we usually like to ask what's going on in our field, in our industry, some client questions. But in my weeks, I kind of like to ask a little bit more about your relationship with content creation, your relationship with putting yourself out there, But this week, I wanted to ask you, what is your relationship to creativity? Because I think being creative is almost a label that could have been put on us as little girls. Like I remember even in like kindergarten classes, preschool classes, I was labeled as like the athletic one. And then the girls that were really good at crafts, like they were the creative ones. And then I always kind of felt like, so does that mean like I can't necessarily like dive into creativity just because I'm not really good at like painting or art class or something like that? But then I was always so creative with my friends when it came to like we love to get the camcorder out and make little commercials and do like a bunch of videos. So I think that is where my creativity lays, is more of like in the director role and like seeing this big picture and trying to figure out how to do like little tasks to get this big task done. So what is your like current, sorry, I muted myself. I'll put this question here in the comments, but to Kristen and Emily, as well as anyone watching, what is your relationship to creativity? Like either now as an adult or even younger? Like, did you feel like you were always super creative and as you've gotten older, you focused more on very like the tangible things in life? Or maybe at younger, you weren't labeled as creative, so you kind of forgot about it, but now as an adult, you're feeling more creative than ever. Kristen, how do you feel? What's your relationship with creativity?
As a little girl, let me preface it with this. I grew up with a creative, artistic mother. My mom can paint, she creates, she makes hand sews antique teddy bears. She's got a 3D printer now. She's got like my mom can do anything. You show her a picture and she's creative. So I definitely felt supported in that way whilst I was younger, and lost that for a bit. I think life just kind of got busy and I couldn't say that I have any hobbies. However, currently it's with my hands and my creativity is more, I think what's coming easier to me lately is just with my hands, creating something, making something physically, whether it be getting my hands dirty and gardening and taking care of my plants, or repainting a chest of drawers, or bringing older things to life and making something that's currently existing better. Um, yeah, I think I struggle like where I struggle is online. I think because there's so much creativity online, I get frozen. I get like,
Mm,
I don't know what like putting it out there. So I guess creativity wise, I'm very much hands-on and more domestic kind of creative things, DIYs, like
yeah,
gardening and like flipping things, and um but I'm still working on the social creativity.
yeah,
I don't know if that's ever going to come naturally to me. I just watch people online and I think, wow, that's so funny. How did you do that? Or that I would never have thought of that. There's an abundance of creativity out there. And I think that is the one thing I'm trying to tell myself is not comparing, is because that's a thief of joy, is that
mhm,
comparison is your creativity needs to come from inwards, but we are so faced with all this creativity that it can kind of almost, I don't know if anyone else feels like this, but it blocks my own. When I'm absorbing too much of everything else, i
yeah,
can't I can't put out.
yeah. No, absolutely. I think you hit the nail on the head when I go to Instagram because I'm looking at how other content creators created the content, not necessarily the content itself. Like if they're putting, I love those beautiful bouquets that people are making for like $200. They have like the most rare flowers or these beautiful roses and tulips and baby's breath. And it's like this magnificent bouquet. Okay, yes, that's beautiful, but I'm watching how the video editor like snipped it every like zero point 0.2 seconds and put this text here and this text here. And it makes me self-conscious thinking, well, why haven't I ever thought of that? And like, well, if everyone else is so much better than me, like why am I even doing this? Where I think it's like you're saying, why are we comparing creativity on the internet? Creativity should be something that we hold close to us that like makes us happy and releases joy, right? But I think it's so hard because everything seems to be a competition, and that's probably why we've gotten far away from our creativity. Emily, what about you?
Yeah.
Well, I have a decade or so on you guys. I think 2 or so. And so I think for me it comes in decades, right? So when I was younger, I wouldn't say that I was a super creative person, but I'm left-handed. So I've always had like doing things, thinking about things, stuff like that. So I think like younger, I wasn't really great at art or any of like the traditional things, but I could create, like I was a cheerleader. I created stunts and I created, things like that.
Wow.
And then as I was walking through college and like the beginning of that young adulthood, it was more with the trainer aspect. I got creative with workout routines because I taught boot camp and HIIT and things like that. And so you were constantly creating, like we had this kind of deck of cards game that, you had exercises to do based on this deck of cards. Like you could get super creative with stuff. A little business where I froze and sold healthy meals for busy families. Super creative in the kitchen. Like I didn't know how to cook growing up, and I taught myself, and then that got super creative. Lately, it's been well. Then I got super fun with the kids, right? So I would make, when the kids were little, I made like a zoo cage out of a cardboard box for all their little animals, and I made this like post office thing so that we could play postman. And so I would get super creative with their play, right? And the things that we did. And when we went outside, I had like obstacle courses and stuff like that for them to do. So it was like, every decade has been a different type of creativity. And it doesn't just have to be the kind that you're thinking of. Right now, that's a different type of creativity when you're picking out curtains and things that go together and rugs and new flooring and stuff like that, where you're trying to put that together. And then travel can be really creative too, right? So maybe either about it or what have you. What trips me up is content. I hate the way mortgage content is done. I cringe when I see people talking about mortgage online. It is so boring. People don't understand it. It changes with every single thing you tell me. My answer changes. So it's a very difficult thing to just talk about because there's no like hard that, and it's boring. And then I have other things that I'd love to talk about, but I don't know. I just maybe not organized it enough to feel like I could talk about it. Like the way we plan our travel is super creative, and people would really get into it because we have people trying to get us to plan their trips all the time. And, fitness, same way, or nutrition, or, coming over to the house and, experiencing a meal with us it's a thing. So yeah, I don't know if I answered your question, but I think that there's some obstacles there about posting about it. So.
Well, I think that's the perfect kind of like next, what I was trying to get to is that, I mean, your face was lighting up when you were talking about the obstacle courses as kids and all these, like the cheer stunts when you were younger, and even like interior decorating now. And then it's like that light just dims when we start talking about content. Because I think all of our minds, if we have like this obstacle in place, and then we're like, okay, well, let's move that creativity to content. It's like, well, I'm not really creative in that. And I didn't mean I was creative in like content, like all these other things I'm really good at. And so the point of today's session is I really wanted to show all of the different ways you can put that creative energy into creating content. It doesn't have to be the editing of the reels, Kristen. Like if your creativity needs to be like parenting and gardening tips together, where you're taking TikToks of you plant a plant and you're relating how the plant's growing with parenting styles, then outsource the video editing to someone else, right? Like Emily, if it's you who you really like to organize and kind of structure things, like I know that is how you are because we're very similar in that way. Maybe that is what you're good at and you need to just outsource the other little pieces, like you're also great on camera too. So it's finding where your creativity naturally goes to and then like filling in the blanks, because we don't have to do it all. For me, I really like the video editing. I also really liked, like I said, the director. I can see the whole big picture and I like to chunk it into scenes. So what I need help with sometimes are the actors. And so I just wanted to read some of these comments really quick because we had some input here. One of our listeners said, she also thought that creativity was only tied to the arts. A couple of years ago, I learned solutions-oriented people are highly creative, the problem solvers. Yes, exactly. Because I was always, labeled as like the analytical person. And I'm like, yeah, but there's so much creativity that goes into even making Excel sheets. You have to know one, like how it works, but then two, like some of Melissa's spreadsheets and some other financial people that I work with, it's insane how they have a simple spreadsheet. And then there's so much creativity and knowledge in the background with all the like formulas happening. I'm like, whoa, that is so cool. It's not just artists and interior decorators and chefs that are the creatives. We all have something. And another viewer said, good morning. I'm wearing a t-shirt that her and I developed all along the Wasatch. I have learned a ton in this process. In fact, I should run with the All Along the Wasatch as a new brand idea, Mountains in Salt Lake. I'm ready for the next chapter, but require the support. Thank you for this. It is our pleasure. It is so exciting to see the evolution of you and your brands and everything that you're putting out, because it's a constant idea wheel. So let's kind of get into it. I have just a few slides that we'll just go through, but then I really wanted this session to be hands-on, to pull up ChatGPT, to pull up Canva, to pull up things I've already created to show you literally how I'm doing it. And if you have any questions along the way, please put them in the comments. We have 3 of us here who all are a part of this ecosystem in some way, whether it's creating courses like Kristen just did. Emily is a big part of our guidebooks. And I'm kind of doing everything and like a little piece of everything at this point. So, okay. The title of today was turning your healing into content. It doesn't even have to be your healing. It can be turning your life, turning your stories, turning your experiences, anything you want into content. And again, I like to preface this as you do not have to share anything you don't want to. All of this, what we're just trying to say is you have experience, you have stories to tell, and we can easily turn that into some type of digital content now with the use of AI and all of these applications. I use Canva like it's my second language. So hopefully at least by the end of this session, you'll feel a little bit more confident using Canva. Okay, so just kind of at a general topic, I wanted to go over some of the platforms I'm going to be talking about today, just so you have an understanding of where some of this content should go. So if we're talking about social media, we have at this point probably 3 to 4 main platforms. Number 1 is Instagram. Instagram, you need to think about Instagram as more of like your curated art gallery. This is your portfolio. This is your CV. This is where a lot of high quality pictures are going, high quality reels, a little bit more edited and almost like pampered in a way, because Instagram, if we remember when it started, I think it was 2008 or 2009 or one of those years. it was the first social media platform to just post pictures. So it's still to that, compared to all the other platforms, it's still where you're going to post the most edited versions of things. Now, also, Instagram is where a lot of Gen Z, millennial, Gen X, and boomers, almost everyone is on Instagram. I would say heavily women, and in general, heavily in between the ages of maybe 25 to 45. So you have to also consider your target market when you're thinking about these platforms. But that's Instagram. Now, if we're talking about TikTok, where primarily all videos will go onto TikTok. So TikTok is kind of the place you can put anything and everything on TikTok. If Instagram is the curated with makeup, hair done place, TikTok is the I just got out of bed. Maybe I'm in a robe. Maybe I'm just in like a normal t-shirt or sweatshirt. Maybe I'm in my bathroom getting ready. Maybe I'm in my kitchen cooking. This is a place that it's kind of the unfiltered, raw, real life behind the scenes videos. So TikTok, not a lot of editing goes into TikTok, but it's still good to keep in mind that this is a place that when we talk about reels in a second, you could put these reels there. TikTok, just put everything on there. And again, TikTok has a quite a younger demographic, but as well, so many people who's even in the Divorce Allies found us on TikTok. So you have to consider that a lot of people are on TikTok with an anonymous profile that are just consuming your videos. So that's another good thing to just note. YouTube is a wonderful place if you're wanting to kind of get into longer form, deeper stories. So if you're wanting to maybe educate on a topic, maybe narrate stories, have vlogs, like a lot of travel vloggers go to YouTube because you can have longer form video, maybe anywhere from 15 to 20 minutes. But what YouTube requires is more scripting, a lot of editing. The best YouTube channels have intense editing and like really nice studio production, but don't worry about that right now. But just saying, if you think that your creativity falls into script writing, maybe you want to focus on YouTube because you can have like a lot longer videos. And then Facebook, I don't love to talk about Facebook anymore. I don't even include it on this list because I think it's a little bit of a dying social media platform. I still think a lot of people use it, but I haven't seen it move the needle in anyone's businesses in the last year or two. And lastly, I just wanted to talk about Canva because if you don't know Canva, pull it up on your phone or your website browser right now. It's a graphic design application. You can use it for free, or you can pay for, I think it's like $12 a month. And this is where you're going to create everything from your Instagram posts to your guidebooks to actual books to, I mean, like truly everything can be made on Canva. Kristen, Emily, is there anything else that you think that I should add about any of these channels, or where are you guys using your social media, like consuming it, and where are you focusing on posting these days?
So I have always been more of an Instagram person, posting and putting out and business wise. I did mention to you guys earlier, however, I know you said you don't even put Facebook on there, but I'm seeing a lot more long form content on Facebook coming up now.
Okay.
So similar to YouTube. But the nice thing about Facebook is whichever other platform you use, if you're using Meta, you can repurpose and post things there.
Yeah.
I'm consuming Facebook Reels. I happen to be a internet horse lady, apparently. My algorithm tells me. I love horses on the internet. Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at.
Okay. Yeah, that is great to mention. Thank you, Kristen. That Meta owns Facebook and Instagram. So if you need to start accounts from scratch, you can start a Meta account. And then from there, you have your Facebook and your Instagram, which in the long term is great because there's literally a button on Instagram where it says automatically publish to Facebook, and you just turn that on. So everything you're posting to Instagram can just be repopulated to Facebook. So thank you for mentioning that, Kristen. Emily, what about you?
Yeah, and that does make it easier for me. Like if I something like that, which I don't know. I stopped posting personally because my husband did it and I got lazy. But I did start a few TikToks with this 21 step system that I created. So trying to stay like batch create is
Mm-hmm.
and then try to schedule it out would
Mm-hmm.
be probably my favorite way to attack. I'm probably not going to edit video. I'm probably going to outsource that
Mm-hmm.
because for that. Canva is the same for me. I'm going to outsource it to a VA or something like that because making those decisions, I have a marketing degree, literally a marketing degree, and hate like picking font and the kerning and the this thing and the that thing that all go to.
Okay, she's frozen, so I'm just gonna keep going. She'll come back soon.
My bad.
So, like we mentioned last month, everything should be about long form content first. So, what we mean by that is either a video recording, you could do a podcast recording, you could even just take your voice notes on your phone and just start talking. And so, with that long form content, we can repurpose that into quite literally anything. And we did our February content session was all about that. So, if you would like to rewatch that, you can go back into your emails. It should be in the bubble up roll up from that week. Or if you need to rewatch it, just let me know. I will happily send you the recording of that because I think it came with such rich knowledge. But the whole point of that session was saying you already have so much of the content that you want to create in the future. You just need to get it out. So maybe you have, if you're a person who likes to journal, you probably have 4 to 5 journals of just thoughts and writing stored somewhere. So if you don't know where to start and you're wanting to focus maybe on the divorce process, or maybe you're wanting to focus on who you were post divorce or pre divorce, find something that you've archived. It can help spark some of those memories. Voice notes and transcripts. Again, I am a huge advocate of your voice notes. If you've never looked at your iPhone at this application, it's free, it's already on your iPhone, and you just click record and you just let it run until you're done. And then you can even download the transcript directly from that application. So then with the voice notes, you can even start recording just your morning thoughts. Like when I do my makeup in the morning and my hair, that is when my creativity is like on point. So I just get my voice notes out and I have a little mini podcast with myself every morning. Like, okay, so this is what I'm thinking. I want to make a blog about X, Y, and Z, but then I also had this client conversation. Like just ramble and it's fine. You just are capturing your thoughts in the moment. You can also capture conversations with friends, siblings, coworkers. I mean, even your experts, if you want to record content to have it later, you can pull that. And just again, random thoughts. We all probably have 20,000 random thoughts a day. You can just start collecting them. So we just want to make sure we're starting. You don't have to reinvent the wheel every time. If you want to start creating content or creating a guidebook or any type of anything, start what you already have. And if you don't have anything recorded, today's a great day to start with voice notes because I promise you will not regret it later.
Can I add something there?
Please.
I love that. You know, the magic portal of a shower is also where all the ideas come. And straight after my shower, for anyone, if you are using ChatGPT, specifically the paid version, you can also voice note everything in. I've got a project that is my brain dump. It's called Kristen's Brain Dump. And post shower, I'm always just blurting in, and it can be all over the place. And why I love doing it in chat is because, especially if you have your Chat GPT or whichever AI you're using, your settings, you need to be careful with AI. It can fluff things up for you. So I have settings for my AI that, you know, give me like when I veer off, bring me back to point, give it organized. So when I
Mhm.
brain dump, it'll categorize in priorities what I need to focus on, what is not important for me, what do I really need to get done. So if anyone that does enjoy AI and just wants to gather your thoughts and just get, pull them all together, chat is a wonder. Instead of sitting there typing everything into chat, just voice note it, it downloads, and it's
Yeah.
a great tip.
Yeah, I mean, it's getting concerning how dependent I am on an AI, and I'm aware of it, and I'm not going down that path today, but it is like every time I need to do something, I have that either my voice notes or chat out to say like, please organize this thought here. By the way, oh yeah, I'm going to the grocery store tonight, so remind me that I need to buy these 4 things. Anyways, I'm not trying to rush through these, but because I think where I want to spend most of the time today is actually inside of some of these applications. So I'm just trying to get through some of these slides. And again, anyone watching, if you have any clarifying questions or need me to repeat, please just ask me in the comments. I'm more than happy to take time and answer your questions. So exactly what Kristen was just saying and what I was trying to explain is this is like the most simplified content workflow. You're going to take your transcript or your brain dump, just like Kristen's brain dump. You're going to literally copy and paste it into AI, or if it's already in your ChatGPT or your Claude or your Perplexity, whatever you're using, then it's already there. And you're just going to enter it. And then you're just going to ask it for anything that you're wanting to work on. If you're starting with your social media, then you're going to ask it for carousel ideas. You're going to ask it for real concepts, real captions, real page by page like scripts. And when I'm saying real, I just want to back up for a second. It's REEL. It's essentially what you just call videos that are on social media. I'm not saying real as in REAL, but just wanted to clear there. So, and again, you can even have it come up with a 30-day content calendar plan for you. If you're feeling stuck, if that's where your creativity is getting blocked, is like, well, this is so much, Anna, I don't even know how to strategize my 30-day, 60-day, 90-day content calendar. Ask AI to help. It will give you an outline, and then you can start filling in the blanks. You can also start asking it for short form video hooks. If you're really interested in narrating your story or educating the audience on whatever it might be, hooks are really important because it gets the listener to stop scrolling and listen to what you're going to say. So AI, again, it's a great starting point. You can have them listed out. So then when you get the camera out to record, you're feeling a lot more prepared. And even if you're wanting to focus on YouTube, I mean, again, YouTube is kind of its own huge thing right now, but it's, again, AI can help you start thinking about the scripts, the thumbnails, the titles, all of these things. And even that's not included on this list is guidebooks, checklists, journal entries, quite literally anything AI can help you at least get started. Again, because I do this every day, AI tends to get repetitive. So you do want to use your own creativity to fill in the blanks, to say, okay, this is a good starting point, but let me kind of like send another voice note to expand on this idea a little bit more. Or they keep using the adjective clarity, or they keep using the word clarity, and they keep using the word actually. Like when you start using AI, you start realizing that it has a pattern that it keeps, and you have to train it to break it, and you have to train it to sound more like you. So if you're getting frustrated using AI, it probably just means you're not adjusting it enough, and just keep talking to it. But anyways, so from one piece of long content, you could get, I mean, it says 10 plus posts. I mean, you could get like 100 plus posts. I mean, 10 probably really good ones. But okay, I wanted to pause here just for a second so I can kind of show you what I mean. So Kristen and I recorded a podcast back in October about kind of redefining your life post-divorce. And so I went into StreamYard. This is the application we use to record all of our podcasts. What's nice about StreamYard is that you can download the video, the audio, and the transcript. So I went in just an hour before the session started and I downloaded the transcript from Kristen and I's podcast. So I'm going to pull that up and I'm going to pull up my ChatGPT to show you quite literally what I mean. So Emily, Kristen, if you just want to kind of talk about your experience doing this little mini workflow of how you're creating things, that would be great. So I can pull this up.
Yeah, Kristen, how do you come up with like what you're gonna talk about? And do you do it in a series? I'm more of a series sort of gal, so that like I have one thing that builds on the next thing, I would say. How do you go about it?
Mine does feel a little bit sporadic of like, moments that happen when I'm driving, as I say, or a client call. That's kind of where I get the inspiration from. However, what you mentioned now with series is I do actually love the series idea because it does make it a little bit easier for you if you're talking about one topic that you can elaborate in little bits. And it does help those people that are interested in what you're talking about to keep consuming your videos. I think we discussed this with Melissa as well. She was the one that kind of said series are great for us. But in general, I do feel a little bit like a, what do you call that, type B personality when it comes to my ideas of content. It doesn't feel very streamlined. Hence, AI helps me bring all of those loose ends in together. And I have started creating some series on the side.
Okay, perfect. I'm back. Let me just pull my screen up here. So, all right. So can you see this ChatGPT?
Yeah. Could you make it a little bit bigger? I don't know, because I'm on my phone.
So there's like that little 4 square box in the corner of StreamYard too, that you can make it full screen, if that helps you.
Yeah, because I can't really make this bigger, but I'll read it out to you. So there is a whole industry now of people selling AI prompts, which I think are great. If you are making pictures or videos, you need to be very specific. But if it's something simple like this, that I just need to create 5 carousel posts or 5 B-roll scripts, you can be as straightforward as that. You can talk to AI like you're talking to a virtual assistant, essentially. I think there's a lot of misconceptions around AI prompts and making them as perfect as possible. I have never bought AI prompts. I think just speaking to it like a VA is enough. Anyways, okay. So Kristen and I recorded a 46-minute podcast. So the transcript is quite long, but all I ask AI is, okay, here's a podcast episode transcript. Can you please create 5 social media carousels and 5 B-roll video scripts? So in real time, you can see exactly what it's going to do. And again, I can be more specific. I could have asked it 5 carousels optimized for Instagram, 5 carousels including this specific term. You can always make it more detailed, but I like to start kind of generic and then build from there. So see automatically, here are all the carousels. One is no one talks about this part of divorce, and it's going to give me all these different slides. Just someone personally, I don't like carousel posts to be more than like 6 or 7 slides long. So I would go back and clarify and say, please make sure that these are no more than 7 slides, but you can do that on your own. So you can see it's just going to take probably a minute or 2 to fully load all of these. But what I wanted to show you is exactly how you could take one of these ideas, go directly to Canva, and start making these posts. So I don't know if this member is on today, but I met with one of our members and she was interested in starting an Instagram page. And this is exactly the, let me show you here. So this is directly inside of Canva. she was asking me about just kind of like the basic strategy when starting to make posts for social media. And I said, well, if you're just starting off and you have an idea of kind of what your brand, maybe you want to use a lot of blues and greens. It's kind of like we can say, well, we'll use this transcript idea today. So we're talking about life post-divorce. So let's use purples, some like soft and yet optimistic colors and fonts. So my advice to her was, if you have an idea of your brand, in the beginning, you might want to just create 4 templates of your Instagram posts. Then you can always use AI to make the new copy. So then all you're having to do is reuse the template, swap out the text, swap out some pictures, and then you're pretty good. So here on Canva, you have all these options of what to make. I mean, you can do presentations on here. There's a whole tab of social media, and you can even separate it by which platform you want to do. They even have photo editors, but we won't get into all that today. But anyways, let's go into the Instagram post 4x5. That's the correct sizing for Instagram.
Can I add in there? I know this is probably a marketing thing, but
Yep.
when I was new, I didn't know about it until someone mentioned to have a look when you are creating a brand, to have a look at the psychology color wheel, and where your brand fits in. The psychology behind different colors and what they will bring actually does make a really big difference for your brand. You know, if you are a fast food restaurant, reds and oranges, that's why they're always, you know, there's certain colors that bring out calm. There's certain colors that bring out elite or wealthy, or so if anyone's busy setting up their brand, have a look. You can just Google the psychology of colors, and that might just point you in the right direction for your brand. Help me a lot.
Thank you. And that's another thing as well that AI can help with. If you have at least the starters of your business, maybe you're wanting to do a gardening business, or maybe you're wanting to do divorce coaching, or maybe you're wanting to do, you know, whatever your niche is, you can go into AI and say, this is what I'm doing. Please help me create a font and a color wheel or a color scheme for this. Now, someone who loves branding and who people pay for to do their branding, this breaks my heart to know that artificial intelligence can do this for me, but that doesn't matter. Where you're at right now, you may not have a budget to hire someone to do professional branding. Utilize AI, utilize all of these artificial, like even in Canva, you can, I think, they can help with your brand. You can go. So what I really wanted to show is that you don't have to start from scratch. What we love about Canva is look at all of these templates. Okay, now granted, this is all in Spanish because it's picked up that I'm in Spain, but don't worry, it's still just a template. So maybe you're going through and you're just trying to figure out, what style do I like? Do I like kind of this little bit more like cartoony look? Do I like bold and colorful? Maybe do I want just kind of like this simplistic where I'm always having some type of element in the background? Do I want more like picture book style? This is really just where, like, I would genuinely recommend sit through Canva for an hour, maybe a day, maybe a week, until you feel at least comfortable with it, just to say, like, to see everything that it has before you like really dive into creating on there. Of course, you can test create all the time, but okay, let's see. What do I want to pick for this? We're thinking about post-divorce healing. Let's try to find something I have some pictures, I have some text along in there. Okay, we're going to do this one. Now again, even though there's people on a beach and it's in Spanish, we're not going to worry about that. All we're worried about is kind of like the template of it, because we can easily replace the picture, we can easily replace the text, and we can go from there. So again, I've made a few workshops on for our members that come up in your bubble roll up. I'll try to put all of them in this week's resources. I've done like 4 Canva workshops just to kind of go through all of the elements inside of Canva. It would take me probably a full year to record everything you need to know, but at least it's some starting guidelines. So again, maybe this isn't a good template because I want a title page. And I also wanted to show you here, you could even describe your ideal design. 5 ways. Then there are templates that already come up to show you that here are other people's designs for doing 5 ways, because I believe, oh no, none of our ChatGPT made a 5-way thing. That's okay. All right, let's just do, I don't know, Kristen, do you like any of these ones? This is a podcast you did with me.
I like if you scroll down a bit more.
Mm-hmm.
I like up above the green one with 5 habits, because you could put a very soft picture behind.
Yep. Perfect.
And slides were actually text. So you can just copy paste your text over those and change your pictures to an empowered woman behind the scenes, post divorce.
Love it. Thank you so much. I have decision fatigue sometimes. Okay, so this is great. Thank you. So again, if we go back to our AI here, let's just go with this first post. So the title would be, "No one talks about this part of divorce." Okay, or do I want to do a different one? Let's do how to rebuild confidence after divorce. I like more positive things. Okay, so then I literally copy that text and I directly paste it here. And as you can see, the font's kind of too tight on itself. So I'm just going to kind of do some light editing here just so you can kind of see. I don't love this font, so I'm just going to change it. You can even, like within Canva, search for handwriting. I'm not going to do one of these, but just to show you some mini features. If you want like a bold lettering, you could search for block or even bold. I'm going to search for modern. And so a lot of the different modern fonts will come up. So let's just do, oh, I don't know. Here I go. I had to remember this isn't that big of a deal. I just need to pick one. Okay, I'm just going to keep this one here. Great. And then like Kristen was saying, we could replace this picture. So we can go to elements and just search empowered woman. And then you can explore all of these pictures. Now we pay for Canva, so we have access to all these pictures. If you're in the free version, you have limited access, but we could even do just something simple like that. Okay.
I was going to choose that one as well.
Oh, perfect. We're on the same wavelength. And I want to change maybe this to, we're going to do maybe just light. Okay. Now, again, we would go in and we have all of these different slides that AI has provided. So then you would just go back to Canva. And then it already has like templated things for all of this. So then you could just go in, replace the picture, replace the text, keep doing this for each slide. Again, it's going to take you a little bit to, adjust the text, make sure you like the size, you like the font. Maybe if you have a logo, you would add the logo, you can add your handle, all of these things. It's going to take a little bit to get the template exactly how you want it. But then once this post is done, now you have a template you can always reuse in the future. So the point of this is just showing you, okay, it's going to take some setup time for that first template, that second template, even that third template. But once you have them, it's going to be so much easier in the future. So then let me go back to AI. Do we have any questions, comments? Nope. Okay, great. So let me go to AI. And so I also asked it to create some B-roll video scripts. So what is B-roll? Well, B-roll is some imagery that maybe it's you working in the garden. Kristen went viral from what, Kristen? What was your B-roll?
Oh my gosh, I was trying to record myself just working on the carpet with a laptop, and my son came in and melted into me. And I changed the whole post because I was like, oh, that's a sweet moment. Let me actually create it around parenting. And it ended up getting 20 million views. Oops.
So that's the perfect example of B-roll. It was just her in the background doing something, or maybe it's if you're at the beach, you just take a video of the water. If you are in the forest taking a walk, maybe it's just a picture of the trees swaying in the wind. So these things are very easy when it comes to creating content when you first start off, because you don't need a full production at this point. So in addition to, Canva has, again, thousands of generic content you can already use. So again, if we're going to head back to Canva, let's create a reel. And then again, you can simply see all of the templates that are already made. I'm just wanting to create probably the most easy version of B-roll reel that you can do. So if our concept is the quiet after divorce, you don't need a lot of text on screen for B-roll. You really want them to be maximum 20 seconds long. I even like between 8 to 10 seconds, super short, and maybe like 3 different lines of text. Again, you have to remember that social media, it's all about capturing attention, keeping their attention, and then if they need additional information, they either go to your caption or they go to your website. You do not have to have everything on the actual post itself. So for B-roll, I mean, this is the easiest one you could probably create starting today. We're just going to copy and paste that. Head back to my Canva. So if it's all about the quiet of divorce, maybe, I don't know, what, Kristen, Emily, what's something quiet? Help me with my thoughts today.
Forest, ocean.
Thank you.
Mountains.
Okay,
Nature.
we're gonna do mountains and forest.
Ooh.
Yeah. Okay, so as you can see, now we just have this beautiful naturous hill valley situation. And then you can just, I'm just gonna go ahead and paste the text. Again, just some like minimal editing on this. I'm taking off the quotes. I'm just going to make the text a little bit bolder. Of course, you can change the font however you want, but now look at that. No one talks about the quiet after divorce. You can add to this, or this could be a post in itself, and you can just shorten it to maybe like 6 seconds. Again, if you have a logo, add your logo. If you have a website or your handle that you want to put at the bottom, you can do that. And then boom, you would download it and then post it to your social media. So those are kind of like the 2 easiest ways to use AI and Canva to start making your social media posts. But I wanted to pause here because we've used now for the divorce allies, AI and Canva to make actual guidebooks, and not just guidebooks, but journals and downloads and checklists and things that all of you have probably used and consumed. But we wanted to show you how we're doing that, because I think that that's one of the, I don't know, maybe it seems super difficult, but Emily, I wanted to ask you, because you're the one who's really taken the lead on a lot of these workbooks, and just kind of like, what has been your journey with like what has been the journey, the roadblocks? How do you feel doing it now? Like, what is your cadence to this whole guidebook creation using AI and Canva?
Yeah, it's been a journey how it gets refined, over time. First of all, you talked about talking to chat like it's your VA. She's my bestie. So I go in there like she knows me well. I've told her all about me. I pay for her. I do all these things. so that she will have my voice and she will, you know enough mortgage stuff. I will tell you though, when I'm writing these, none of the mortgage stuff is correct. Not one thing. I have to go in and edit everything about mortgage. So she's just not very good at that, but she's good at the wording and she's good at all the stuff. And then I call her out a lot, like, because I've already set up parameters. So I use what's called projects in ChatGPT. So I give the projects each one instruction. So if we're doing a workshop, it already knows that I want these 12 things included with my workshop. And so every once in a while, I'll ask it for a workshop, and I use transcripts a lot. Anna, that is so important. So we'll have talked to somebody, I'll take the transcripts, rip it, and stick it in there, and then ask it for a 3-part series workshop with all the fixings that I've requested. But a lot of the times it doesn't give me the whole package that I normally require. So I have to call her out and tell her, hey, it doesn't look like you gave me my intro or my outro or my summary questions or whatever. What's up, bestie? Like, bring it. So I think that, that has become my cadence in it, and just making sure that you read everything that it spits out to you before you publish, because it is not always accurate, nor is it the way that you wanted to say it or what have you. Then I'll go and no, I don't use Canva myself. I'm just going to tell you that now. I hire a VA for that. And then once she puts it in Canva, then I'm going back, making sure it flows together, rearranging things, maybe adding a video, and just kind of putting it together in that organized fashion, because that's my special gift, is the organization of things. So I think I answered that correctly, but like, that's how I go through that process. And I don't really have to think about it anymore, because I've already taught chat how I want things. But I use that that little projects tab, and that's how I use it. Yeah.
That's one of my favorite things, is the projects. I don't know, Anna, if it's worth showing them quickly on chat where you create a project and put instructions in, because when you start categorizing different, on the parenting side, I have a co-parenting project with my co-parent. It has our parenting plan uploaded. It has instructions of how I want to communicate with my co-parent. It has all the history over the time. So whenever I've got a thing with my co-parent, I go to that project, and I don't have to start and re-explain everything else. It's already got everything I need, and that is specifically on that topic. It has specific instructions for that topic.
Yeah, I would show, but I have all of my clients listed on my projects, and I don't want to make that public. But yes, if you haven't used the projects in AI yet, I need to try and like diversify and like use other ones, because I'm so stuck with ChatGPT. And sometimes I feel like maybe like I know Perplexity is really, really good for copywriting and like research, and it gives you all of the citations, every single answer almost every time. So it's also nice to experiment with different types of AIs and not just focus on chat. But I'm sure that each of these platforms probably have some type of similar feature where you make a project and it has to follow the instructions. I mean, we all know it doesn't follow it a lot of the time, and it gets frustrating, but we also have to remember, like, we weren't able to do any of this like 2 years ago. So it's always a learning curve.
Yeah, be careful. I'm pretty sure specifically ChatGPT was made by a man, because it gaslights you sometimes. So ladies, be careful.
Yeah. I had a full-on argument with it the other day, but I was like, okay, Anna, this is your sign to walk away. You need to walk away, get some fresh air. But what I was saying is that what we've learned in the Divorce Allies is that Emily is really good at the structuring of the book. We kind of have like our internal process of I design some of the templates. Emily creates the actual content that's going to be put in the guidebook. And then we have a VA actually start assembling it. So it's just the perfect example of we're leaning towards what we really like to do. And I wanted to show you actually kind of two examples of what we've done. So 1 second, let me pull this back up. We're talking about divorce a lot. We're always talking about depositions and all the things that you need to know about depositions. And so I know a lot of our members have questions about, how to behave, what to wear, how to even prepare for it, like the day of, a week before, a month prior, all these things. So Melissa and Emily, I'm pretty sure, did a whole podcast episode about depositions. So then what I did, I combined transcripts from that podcast and I combined transcripts from the Divorce Allies. And I then created this templated journal to just go through deposition. And again, it's only 8 pages long, just talking about all the things that you need to know. But this is just like a perfect example of I'm taking relevant things that are in our world of divorce, pulling a transcript, running it through AI, using Canva to make something like this. And you can see that it gets very simple. It's very straightforward. I didn't spend, Emily, is this the one? I don't know if you or I made this one, but regardless.
You made it, and then I made one just like it that I used the template. So that, so that just proves.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And it is something like, yes, I could spend probably 5 hours on making this into something beautiful, but you have to kind of have a question with yourself. Okay, am I trying to get information out in a downloadable way that's like digestible for other people and it is aesthetic, or do I want like the most beautiful, perfect download so that's a conversation I have with myself. But this is the perfect example because I made this, then Emily went and copied it and then just started changing the text or adding onto it. So again, if you at least start with the template, invest the time there, and then any future download you have, you can copy and edit it for the new topic. And also this one, so again, I'm going to keep repeating the theme of just go where your creativity leads you, because I really enjoy making templates and then I like to hand it off. So this was a template that I've made for the Divorce Allies. And I would be very willing to give to anyone in the membership at least the template to this. So if you want to make a guidebook, but you're struggling with even getting to the point of having a template, I would be more than happy to share this with all of you in the resource center this week that I send out on Fridays. It will be a Canva link that is a template link. So then all you do is click on it and it takes you to Canva, and then you just can use it as a template. You replace the pictures, replace the text, redo the font and the colors, and make it your own. But again, it's just something like, so this is where and I also want to bring up the fact that creating templates like this, you can make income from. There are people that are on Upwork that have their own businesses and all they do for income is make templates. So if this is something that really piques your interest, look into that. You could have a website or an Instagram page and you're selling templates for maybe $9.99, $19.99. And if a reel that you're trying to advertise, it goes viral and 100 people, 1,000 people buy your template, that's pretty quick cash. So that's just something to think about.
My favorite feature on this, Anna, I don't know, is the brand button. If your brand is uploaded already, I don't know if you've done that. If your brand is uploaded, you can, if you click shuffle, it's going to immediately put in your own color scheme and
So I'll
Wonderful.
show you. So this
Logos.
is our Divorce Allies brand. So if I clicked shuffle, it would then automatically change the colors for the Divorce Allies. So then you're not manually having to do this every single time.
Yeah,
But
that's
I'm just gonna.
time saver for me.
Yes. And it's another great feature of Canva. Once you have your brand decided, you upload your brand colors, you upload your logo, you upload your font. So then every time you're starting a new project, everything is pre-programmed. So you're not having to search for that font again. You're not having to memorize those exact color codes. Everything's just there. So what I was saying is that then now internally, like if Kristen wanted to then use this and create a guidebook. Well, let's just do this again all together. So let's go back to AI. So, okay, in theory, I made all of these posts and these B-rolls. I tweaked it how I wanted it to. And then now I'm like, all right, I'm ready to create a guidebook that we can then sell to the outside world. So then I would just simply ask AI, please create, I'm going to give it some more specific parameters, a 10-page guidebook that includes a table of contents, relevant definitions, and one case study. Let's just see what it comes up with.
I love how you're just as polite as I am to my chat. Please, can you do this? I say thank you, please.
Well, you never know what's going to happen if they have their own army one day, you know?
Well, just so you know, they, at the end of last year, they sent me like a summary or something. And part of that was how I talked to it. And I was like, oh, that's weird. So they do track it.
Hey, I don't know where the world is going. I never thought I'd be using AI in the first place. So I'm going to be polite. Regardless.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well now I think it's actually trying to create its own guidebook. So I'm just going to stop it and I'm going to be more specific because now some of the things of AI, it will actually try to create a guidebook for you. But Emily, can you talk a little bit about the troubles you've had with that?
With the
Of
guidebook?
how it kept telling you that it was going to send you the final copy.
Oh,
and then
that part drives me insane. Like it'll say, oh, I can connect with Canva. I can connect with, what was that app Notion?
Yep.
Oh, I can spit out all this stuff. Lies, like all of it, complete and total lies. And so it would make me wait the next day and wait the next day and do all this stuff. And then I was like, you can't really do this, can you? And then they're like, no. I was like, then why did you tell me you could do it? So, but
yeah, I think it was trying to get on that. It was like, I'll create I'm like, just wait. I just want you to. So then all I did here on the end of this prompt was, all I need is the outline and words. I will create it on Canva. So then now it's ready like that. So then if we have something like this, already a template kind of made, then all I have to do is go back and forth. Again, I will always say, make sure you read it, make sure it sounds like you, make sure it makes sense. But at a certain level, you can start just copying. And let's see. So again, I would have to adjust the size of this, maybe. Again, I'm not going to spend the rest of your 16 minutes here editing this, but just to show you conceptually everything you can do just with AI and Canva. And Kristen, I wanted you to just talk a little bit about how you created your course, because I think that that is something that I haven't necessarily done, so I don't want to speak towards, but how did you then create, like you had years of everything. How did you start using AI to help you build what now you're selling?
Yeah, firstly, I had an idea of how long I wanted the course to be. I wanted it to be 8 weeks. I brain dumped And then I said, okay, what could we make of this? From there, for each chapter, for each week, I would then say, okay, we come up with titles. Based on each title, I would give it all the information that I have and that I want to impart. And then I would get the ChatGPT to give me a script, create the video, and then create a PDF version along with that. So it's an 8-week course that they can watch the video, work through the book, and then weekly chat with me as well on a group session. But it was basically this process, recording the video and then utilizing, like we, in the Divorce Allies, there's many platforms, but we use Bubble Up. So then I would upload the video and the PDF. And then my clients get that link. When they pay for the course, they get that link released once a week. They get a new video, a new guide, and then we work through that in the group sessions.
Yeah.
So it's not even that complex. There's obviously platforms like Kajabi and Teachable that you can host a course on. But it's not even necessary to do that. It really isn't. There's many different platforms. You just got to find one that works for you and start with that.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that anything that has felt too robust or too complex in the future, like, oh, I don't have 5 months to create that right now, I would say revisit that thought or that limiting thought, because now with all of these applications and the help of AI, that you can definitely get back on track. And so I wanted to address 2 comments here, which one I think I want to also answer. So someone says, I made a Facebook landing page update for our group. One friend made a comment about the Tetons. So I gave a reference to our local mountain range and said, I feel like the Tetons have sharper peaks. Another person said, I think your use of AI is disingenuous to our artists. I am taking these personally and wonder why I feel attacked in my creative ideas. How do I handle low-scale criticism? Well, I find this very interesting because in so many creative forums, people are accusing AI as kind of removing creativity from anything. And yes, do I still think that creators need to still create? And do I still try and advocate for myself? Like, Anna, don't get your pencil and paper out and just start ideating first and then head back to AI. So I still think, well, this is a whole discussion, isn't it? I'm a bag of balls. But to get to your question individually, how do you handle the low scale criticism? Well, ignore them. 2, I think you are trying in your specific situation. You are doing the absolute most you can with what you have and the resources you have and all of your experience in the past to use AI to actually get you to a point that you can collect income. And that no one should ever take that away from you. You're trying to hustle and you're trying to use all of your resources to better yourself. So if people want to criticize your use of AI and listen, they can go have their own type of discussion. I don't know, Chris and Emily, do you have any input there?
Look, I've been doing this now for a few years, and I think it's just one of those things. You do get a little bit of a thicker skin eventually, and understanding that you're not going to be for everyone. And unfortunately, the internet is that place where people can just criticize those trolls and they just get trigger happy. But I mean, I'll be honest, it is a fear. And I think anyone that says in the beginning that it's not a fear of the criticism, it's hard to put yourself out there. But that is being an entrepreneur, and especially in the online space. I think there's so much personal growth and self-confidence that you gain from that. And you just have to believe in yourself and know that you will find your people. Just as much as there will be people that are going to criticize you, there are going to be so many people that need to hear your voice. Anna always told me, just speak to one person. Speak to one person. If it does help you, start a new page that no one knows. I have a friend that started a completely anonymous page, no one that she actually knows. knows that she started this page, and that made her take that leap forward. Without it, she just couldn't do it. She was like, I don't want the people in my life to criticize me. I think it's perfectly human. It's perfectly human, but it's something that you can work through and grow through and build that resilience. It's worth it.
I live in the same town I grew up in. And so my family has been in this town since like 1850s. And it can be very difficult to like grow up. And then I was a stay-at-home mom. I went to college and then I was a stay-at-home mom, and now I work. And so that transition was a little difficult because people want to put you in whatever box they want to fit you in. And you are growing out of those boxes that they want to fit you in. And so I think what happens here, especially in this scenario, as a Christian, we call it spiritual warfare. It's just people trying to squash what you're doing because they either don't know how to do it that way, you're having success in a way that they wanted, and you found a way to do it easier, faster, better than others. I think that they're right. You just speak to who you speak to, and the trolls can kind of go by the wayside. If there is a comment that is anywhere near productive that you could take and utilize in what you're doing and what you're comfortable with, then take it and do that. If it's not helpful, let it go. They don't know what they're doing. They came up with Tetons. Okay, so you could do your mountain range in Salt Lake. You could now do mountain ranges all over the place and have different sayings for each one. I just think that there's a lot of creative openness and creative space for you to just make yourself known for whatever it is that you want to be known for, and just forget the rest.
Yes.
I love what you say, Emily, of that box, because this is how my business started. I didn't fit in a box. I was a chief stewardess on yachts with a child development background that was interested in meditation, that went through divorce, and I somehow have pulled everything together. And we're not meant to fit in a box. And another point Emily made is that the spiritual warfare, I tell myself every day, I'm God's favorite child. And I am protected. He will look after me like water off a duck's back. You've got to just, those affirmations, how you speak to yourself, and not letting those other people's opinions, criticisms actually land on your heart. And imagine that you have, I think we had someone previously that said she imagined that she had this force field shield around her. And I love that, because I think what we tell ourselves is one of the most important narratives that we can carry. So don't take those thoughts on board. Imagine you are protected, believe you are protected, and like water off a duck's back.
Yeah, love it. No more. This comment, this listener said, I've done cut flower growing content, but I haven't posted anything in 2 to 3 years. I'd like to resume and put a guide together for my local area. I think that's a brilliant idea. This content, I mean, you can kind of niche any specific way. I think you can start absolutely for your local area, and then you can expand to neighboring areas. You can expand to statewide, nationwide. I think there's always so much opportunity in every single thing that you have an idea on. And if you have any questions about how to put a guide together, reach out to me. I'm happy to meet with any of our members and kind of, check and see where you're at and where you need to go. Because yeah, I mean, listen, you just saw how I created like some easy posts with anything with flowers. You could do a lot of B-roll, have some amazing video content that way, help boost your social media again. Then you can have a guide that you can sell or even have for free. Start collecting emails, getting cash that way. If you want to sell it for like $5.99, have a more extensive version for $19.99. We have so many different ways that we can do that, whether we do things on Squarespace, and we also have a Stan store. Stan store is an also great way to easily collect money. So, okay.
Remember, just
Yeah.
because I've been consuming is a lot of arts and crafts DIY, but what I often see, so when you are doing the flowers, set up your camera and have a time lapse of how quickly before those time lapse videos, and then a link at the bottom with your guide if they want to know more. But whilst you're actually doing it, just set up a camera time lapse, because people love to watch something happening quickly and see the before, how quickly you did it and what you did, and then the end result. So it's kind of compacted. So if that's just my tip for you for marketing. I see a lot of
I think she froze. But I think you got the gist of what she was trying to say. Yes, time lapse, consume other people's accounts, and you like bookmark the ones you really like. So then when it comes to creating content for yourself, you can kind of reference those and see the ones that caught your attention. But we like to end our sessions with either like a reflection exercise or a creative exercise in these weeks, and just like short and simple. I like to categorize myself now as a creative person, but sometimes I just feel like my personal creative juices are so low because I'm giving my creativity to all of my clients and everyone else. And so to kind of come back to my own creativity, here are some things that I like to do to just kind of like revamp that. So thought I'd share with you all. So my number one is I always like to try a new recipe for dinner. We have to cook for ourselves a few times a day, so you might as well try to get creative in the kitchen. Even like today, this is the new recipe. I just made it. Well, referenced a reel and kind of made it my own, but I'm in my tea era. So I made some black tea, and then I had almond milk and dates and cinnamon. So I blended the dates and the almond milk together to kind of make it a sweet milk, and then put the cinnamon, and then I put my black tea, and it kind of got me excited for the day. Like, okay, there's more light, there's more creativity to be consumed. Even like just trying a new makeup or beauty product, that also helps me. Maybe you can go out to Sephora, buy a new blush, a new mascara, a new shampoo, a new lotion, whatever it might be. Sometimes little things like that help create those creative sparks. Wear something you haven't worn in years. That also helps cleaning out the closet. Going for a walk without my phone, actually looking at like everything. Look up. How many times do we not look up on walks? We're usually straight ahead or down, but just try looking up and like seeing all of the trees and even like the bird's nests above you. I love that. Rearrange a space in your home. This is great. Journal without a prompt and just free writing. Create a favorite songs playlist. I love to do this. I just made one of my friends a playlist last week. I just took all of my favorite songs, put them in a playlist, and shared with him because he's not from the US. And so he enjoyed seeing like my favorite songs from a different perspective. And just like saying things out loud. Like, I think we forget that if you're just like in my apartment, sometimes I don't have to just think in my head. I can just start speaking out loud. And when I hear myself speak, I'm like, hey, that was a good idea. So these are things that help me. Kristen, Emily, what are some things that help you try to kind of get your creative juices back?
Travel. Travel, and more travel at the moment. So it helps me it helps me work towards something. It helps me take a much needed break to come back and want to, dive right in and do, and maybe I'm going to do it a little bit different. Maybe, I'm going to start my day with matcha instead of coffee because I traveled somewhere new, which then puts me into a different mindset when I sit with that lovely matcha and talk with someone I haven't talked to in a while. And, maybe I'm going to reconnect in a new way. Again, we talked about creativity earlier, and it's not just the arts, it's conversation. It's, hey, instead of going out for drinks with my girlfriends, let's go for a walk on the nature trails. Things like that. So I do love the idea of wearing something new. I love shopping and I'm a resale girl. So I take my friends with me a lot, and we're like picking things out for each other to buy, not necessarily ourselves. And that can be something that kind of wakes you up as well.
Yep. And then Kristen says here that she's having some tech issues, but I'll read hers. Hers is nature is my go-to, grounding on the grass, beach, etc. Nature always fills me with calm and opens my mind to think outside the box, minimum once per week. Yes. And again, we as humans were born to be outside. We were born to look and be in nature and consume the light, the fresh air, all of the things around us. So I think that that's always a great go-to. Well, we're officially at our time. This was so good. I feel like this even helped me kind of recharge my creative batteries too, just thinking and looking at the things that I do every day from a different lens. I think it was great for me. Hopefully you got something you can take away from this. Again, please email us if you have any questions. I'll put my email here. And then we'll see you next week. We resume with sessions. If you have more divorce questions, it'd be great to bring them next week and continue on. And then the 4th week of the month is always the content creation. So content/creation. So if you have any questions about that, please come.
Yeah, we have a 5th week this month. And I believe Melissa is taking that one ransom and is going to run with it. So you have a bonus session this month with Melissa.
Perfect. All right, ladies, thank you so much. And we'll see you next time.